Morning, morning, morning. Yes, we're back with another episode, another lovely rider. Today we have Samantha in the house and she's telling me she's a short film producer.
Hello.
Aspiring to new things. So, Samantha, nice to have you here today.
Hi, lovely to be here.
That's good. So tell us, what kind of person were you when you were in school and why the film business?
That's a good one. Okay, I feel like growing up I saw a lot of documentaries and they changed the way I live my life and the way I thought. And I thought, wow, what a powerful platform. So it was more about telling stories and meeting like everyday heroes and finding connections than more so the film. But then I fell in love with like the cinematics of it all as well.
Okay. And what kind of person were you when you were in school?
What kind of person was I?
Yeah.
I was quite curious and active. I got into everything. I tried to try everything and do everything. I went to film school and I worked for PBS and ESPN and like C-SPAN. I just tried to get really involved in any film or TV I could.
ESPN is sports.
Yes, I used to film the sports games on like the side of the field for football and like basketball. And I was like a young college girl with a bunch of like 50-year-old roadies. And it was quite funny.
Okay. So what did you learn during that experience? You've had quite an interesting experience with ESPN and PBS.
Yeah. What did I learn? Oh, I learned so much.
All right, put it this way. What did you learn that you wish you knew when you had started?
Oh, that's good. I guess I learned that I can do things my way and I can pave my own path and I don't have to follow ways that I've done before or conform in any way. That if I can just be myself, my authentic self, that will lead me where I need to go.
So was that at the start you felt pressure to conform?
I guess so. I feel like we might all feel that way. You want to do well and you want to be accepted by like the tribe. And so, yeah, I think there was slight that, and you want to make money, and these don't make money, and starving artists. So you're just like, no, I have to just not make decisions out of fear, not give in to fear, and do what I believe in.
So you're working with guys who are 50 plus in the industry. They've been in there probably 20, 30 years at the very least.
Yes.
How did you navigate that?
That's a really good question. Yeah, it's definitely a boys' club, the film industry, and it was not from the usual way, bottom up, I approached it.
What is the usual way?
I guess starting on like a big film set as a PA from the bottom, going up the hierarchy is kind of how they roll it out for you or position it for you. But
okay.
I think at first there was a lot of proving myself I felt like I had to do. Like, I remember, especially with the ESPN games, like it was a 40-50 pound camera and like the men would put it down for breaks, in between plays, but I felt like I couldn't, I had to prove myself, so I'd like rip my arm. And then I realized that like, I don't know, I think I just kept showing up, and I think talent speaks for itself, and kept putting myself in rooms, and if they wasn't allowed or welcome in the room, I would like make my own space in another. It's kind of like build it and then they'll come.
Create your own table and they will come to your table.
Exactly.
Because they know the skills that you have.
Yeah, and I started working with people who wanted to. Like, there's, in the film world now, I feel like there's a lot of like female teams and boys teams, and I'm hoping to see in the future that we kind of cross over and collaborate. But right now we're just making space at least for the girls to come in. And
that's interesting when you say female teams and boys teams, because what I've noticed recently, and I was having this conversation with my barber, is that there's kind of a war between the sexes going on.
Yeah.
And in the Western world, I would say.
Yeah.
It's not in the rest of the world from what I've seen. And it's quite sad.
Yes.
Because how can we need each other.
Yeah.
So how can we be good at each other?
I know.
But in the same times, but in the working space, in your industry, would you find that, I'll give you an example. See, like football. Mm-hmm. When the women's football, as you call soccer, league was created here, the coaches who were managing the guys, some were assigned to manage the women, and they suddenly realized very quickly that you can't manage women the same way you manage men.
Yes, exactly.
So would you say in your industry, division of teams, like a women's team and a men's team, is that a bad thing?
No, I actually don't know if I totally agree, because I think what they're trying to say there is with men, maybe you can do negative reinforcement. You can be a little rougher or harder on them. And I don't know if negative reinforcement ever really works in the end. Okay. I think that like the best combination is when women and men work together, that we need each other. It's like the feminine and masculine qualities coming together. So, and I think there's limitations with how the men have gone about it. Like if in that space, like managing them that way, I feel like there's only so much you can do. I feel like how I entered these spaces is because there's a very traditional way of approaching it with like the men team in film. It's like, you know, you have the big crews and you come in and there's a big gear and there's a process, and I was able to kind of come in less gear, more nimble team, just me, not so intrusive, and this was still the same talent, and you can get more out of your subject. They're more
make them talking more.
Yeah, they feel more safe, or it's not so like all this big crew around and big gear and these like not intuitive men, you know, like just doing their job. Like it's like you need that feminine touch. You need to make the safe space, slow down, feel into it, hear them, create a vulnerable atmosphere. So I definitely think it needs both, because it is being on a film set is like going to war. It's like you gotta go, you need soldiers, it like hurts, there's time, but you also need, when you're there and you set it up and you got there, that's when it's time to like slow down and let the magic happen.
Keeping in mind, I don't know anything about the film business, but I'm just asking, that would that depend on like the actors or whatever you're working with? So for instance, if you're doing a war film, mm-hmm. and there was no like kind of wife at home scene, then maybe that kind of typical, I would call it traditional production way that, you know, obviously men have created over time. Yes. That probably works. But if you're doing a Harry Met Sally, then you're definitely gonna need the loving touch. Yes.
And every good film has it all. I feel like even in those war films, there's those moments where it should have the feminine touch. Mm-hmm. And
in a war film?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet it's military. I don't like any feminine things in a war film. Leave my war films alone. That's like saying Harry Met Sally, you can have your... There should be a drive-by or something. Yeah.
You can have your war films.
your experience in uni when you were studying,
mm-hmm.
Did you do like what we call a sandwich degree, where you got work experience, like I did a year out, got work experience in the industry?
Yes. It was during it though. I was in school while working at PBS and the Capitol, C-SPAN, and ESPN.
Okay. Did PBS fund your degree?
No. I graduated with an A, so then my state fund my degree to stay in state. Florida has I'm from Miami, Florida originally, and they have a program that if you graduate with a B or an A, they'll pay either 75 or 100% of your degree to stay in state. Because I think the smart kids always wanted to leave Florida, but they wanted to keep them in, so they have this program.
So you were blessed, Dave. You don't have some big...
Yeah, I was blessed.
Yeah.
And my parents as well, they had some foresight and had saved up for me a little bit, so I was really blessed, because that's totally changes your start to life if you can have a little bit to
and if you're informed about that. Someone said, Samantha, when you're like 10 years old, if you study hard, we won't have to pay for your education when it really matters, you know, that kind of thing.
I'm just grateful I listened, because I didn't always listen. So I'm glad it worked out.
So you're a free spirit.
Yes, definitely.
Nothing wrong with a free spirit. What about the course that you did, how helpful was it, and how could you improve it?
What was that one?
About the course, the degree that you did in film.
Oh, how helpful.
How helpful was it, and how could you improve it?
Yeah, I feel like it It was nice to get some technical, teaching. It really helped, like getting your hands onto the resources and learning the gear and kind of like some tricks of trade. That was helpful. But really, I felt like when people ask me, do they need to go to film school? I feel like I walked into a building with 4 walls and they told me, make me a film, and then I walked out and did it. So it's like, I didn't really, like, they just told me to do it. So if you could find that drive within you, I don't really know if you need it. There's so much you can learn online now. And you learn by doing it. You learn by getting in and getting involved. But I was at my university, there was a school shooting. We have lots of those in the US. And I did a documentary on that because I tried passing legislation to allow kids to bring their guns to campus. And there's just like a lot of science on how like brandishing a weapon in class changes the dynamic.
Just to jump in there, you want kids to be able to bring their guns?
No. I showed both sides, but I lean towards that's not the smartest idea.
That's an interesting debate, though.
Yeah.
You know why? Because I can understand why someone would say, listen, the situation's just got ridiculous. So if everybody has a gun, then any nutter who wants to start shooting knows it's going to be index for them. Do you see what I mean? Because right now, if we try and take people's guns from them, that's not going to work. So, do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I can see the logic in that argument, but at the same time, it's like, why can't we just not shoot each other?
Yeah.
And everybody else doesn't have this problem.
I know, if they could just help like our mental health, then yeah. But I see your point. I feel like there is a lot of guns in the system, so yeah, I don't feel like we can take them all. I feel like small things we can, more gun control. It's really sad for sensible gun owners, but I feel like, yeah, just a little bit more gun control. And especially in school with younger kids, I'm not sure about that, because you're arming half half the school, because it's only the older kids that could get it. And a classroom is a place to bring ideas in and have debates and challenge each other and learn. And
actually, I think I want to retract what I said. I can see the good idea, because I'm thinking of all the flaws.
Yeah, and like there's people drug use.
Hang your coats and your guns on the wall. Do you see what I mean? It's like, how does that work? You know?
I think it would change the dynamic of the classroom. Yeah. Just because when a weapon is around, it changes everything.
Miss, you gave me an A!
Exactly.
Bang!
I
wanted a... You gave me a B, I wanted an A.
Which we hear a lot actually in the US. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
People lose over that.
When I was doing the documentary, there was a shooting of a student shooting a teacher over a grade.
Really?
Yeah. So that was a probability, like while we were doing it.
The next thing, the teacher's going to have that bulletproof glass in front of their desk.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll be accepting your homework through a slit to
goodness.
A bulletproof box.
What is the world?
It's not the world, that's America, man. Don't put
I know, yes.
Okay, so that was your first documentary?
That was my first documentary.
And what was your overall findings on that? And where can we find that documentary? Is it online on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on, I think PBS still holds it. It is online.
Is it cool?
It won a couple film festivals, and it toured on college campuses to educate kids. So it was like a cool thing to have it pretty successful for my first attempt at telling such a controversial story.
Where can people find you on social media?
I'm at Sam H. Hunter, but I have my production company is Source Films. It's at Source Films. And yeah, we're on IG and Vimeo, and the website is...
And all your stuff will be on there?
Yes, I do.
That's great. I'm going to have look at that. That documentary sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
So when you say Source Films, can you spell it just to make sure the listeners...
It's SOURCES Films. Source, like from the source.
And it's all one word?
All one word.
Okay. That's good. So what was your second documentary? And also, how did you find working with PBS? Like... You've worked with that's a good question too. I was shooting an ESPN game, and I was the colored
camera, which means like you go around and get like the colorful shots. Like you don't have to film the game. That one, it was like get some of the flag or get some of the environment or the crowd. And so that was like more of a fun one. And I think I wanted to have fun with it. And my producer, who like calls the camera, they'll be like, camera 1, okay, take, camera 2, take, and they like, you find your shot and they see if they like it and then they'll take you. I was filming, and during the game he was like, who's on camera 3? And he like wanted to know, because I guess I was like running around, I was like really like having fun with it, and I was like, oh, it's me. And then afterwards he was like, he offered me a job. He was like, I loved your energy and your effort. And so then I was able to go.
Were you nervous when he said, who's on camera 3?
Yeah, I was like, did I do something wrong?
Yeah,
it's so funny. Yeah.
But it shows that's good though. That's really good. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, it was good. It was good until I remember one of the games, they told me for the kiss cam I couldn't show.
What's a kiss cam?
Like a kiss cam during the game, like they'll do like a couple kissing on camera. It's like a thing.
Like American.
Yeah.
The love heart and the cute thing. Yeah,
exactly. They told me I couldn't show a homosexual couple.
Okay.
And so I decided to like
rebel.
I found
fired?
Yep. Right after. They were like, I got them on and they kissed, and then afterwards they like never went back to me. And they were like, we can't trust you. But I was happy to break the norm. It was.
Did you regret doing that?
No, because I was about to graduate and leave and head out to LA. So it was one of my last games anyway. And the director said no homosexuals, and then my producer like was a lesbian. So I was like, oh no, I'm gonna do this for her.
And what did she say?
No, yeah, she loved it. She was so happy. It was. I went out with a bang.
I suppose in that case, it may be about business. What the majority wants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
In finance, we've got families, children, blah blah blah, and all this kind of thing.
Yes. I just feel like I'm a creator who puts like people first, then business. But it's very difficult when you're growing a business to do that. But yeah, they don't like each other.
Can you tell us what is it, your official title, and what is your actual role?
I'm a director, photographer, so I direct the camera, the light, the angles. I work really closely with the director who is directing the story and the message. And I love to be on camera though. I'm a DP that gets dirty.
To direct, DP, director of photographer, that gets down and dirty. Yeah, I see what I mean. So okay, that's interesting. So what's who motivates you? Who do you look at as a DP and you think,
that's such a good question.
And just to throw another one in the mix there, if you could work with anybody, actor, director, who would it be as well?
Yeah, so I got into documentary because of the powerful platform. So one of the directors I would love to work with is Louis Fiosos. He's done like The Cove and Racing Extinction. He's done like climate change documentaries. Oh, sorry, that's my alarm. That are really informational and amazing and kind of like heist, which is fun. They kind of go in undercover and get the story, and that's very much my jam. I mean, in the more narrative sense, I love like Terrence Malick. I love his wandering camera movement. There's so many.
And were those the people who motivated you to get into your position?
Yeah, I guess my father gave me my first camera, and he was a helicopter pilot that did a lot of filming as well because of like the aerial filming, and I wanted to go into aerial photography to like specialize in it. Mm-hmm. So I think he supported me, and I think some of my college professors really supported me, and I think me.
Okay, that's good. When it comes to cameras, I heard that there was like a James Bond movie. There was a fight on the scene on the train. This was some time ago, but it's all done by drone.
Oh, yeah.
Do you use drones now?
I do.
So
They're
you're an expert flyer then?
Yes, I know how to fly drones. They're a great tool. They're a very helpful tool.
The batteries don't last long, do they? It's like half an hour.
Yeah, no, they have to. Some of them are better than others, but I think the technology is still improving.
Okay. What would you say to your 16-year-old self?
I'm so proud of you. And have fun. Continue to have fun and not take things so seriously. And drink water.
To a young person, let's say a female like yourself,
Yes.
who wants to go down the route you've gone, what would be your advice? Do they need a degree? Do they need to just do work experience? What would be your words of wisdom?
My words of wisdom would be really just to create from the heart. Really do it because you love it. Like whatever you love, just do it. I think the hardest thing is to find what you want to do. And I don't even know if it's that hard. I think we all really know it's just scary to actually do it. And we think like, oh no, we have to do something else. We're always scared of our dreams. But what scares you the most and what you want to do the most, just break it down and do it. You are a creator and you can create that reality. And it's like probability. Anything you work on, spend time on, put yourself around, you will develop and it will happen.
What does the future hold for you?
That's a good one. I'm ready probably I've been a DP for a long time, helping people bring their ideas to life. And I do feel like I have my own voice and I'm ready to step into directing, maybe even acting. I think I built myself out in being behind the camera and my production company, and it's like my first love forever. But being a multi-dimensional human, I want to experience different art forms and I want to try different things. I've told myself like, oh, I'm not a musician, I'm not this, I'm not a painter. And I'm like, well, wait, like why? I can be. Like, it's all about your self-talk. And so I'm championing myself to go into like uncomfortable territory.
You made your first film about the school shooting.
Yes.
Is there a big difference in cost from when you made your first film to when you made your films today?
A big cost in...
Like the running costs?
Yes, it's definitely increased. I remember just being... With that one, that was all blood, sweat, and tears. and they still are, but yes, thank goodness.
You running around with your Canon SLR.
Yeah, exactly,
and
like
your
Rebel.
iPhone.
Yeah, exactly.
So you mentioned you do sound recordings as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, that's good.
My second documentary was about, I lived in Bangladesh for 2 months.
Bangladesh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because their climate is very similar to my hometown's climate, Miami, Florida, and their footprint is like negligible compared to ours. And because of where they're positioned in the world on the river delta, they were experiencing like massive climate change. And our country really, like America half of us don't even believe in it. So I felt like we had a lot to learn from like the resilient people of Bangladesh who were facing it on the forefront every day. And also try to build like solidarity between the global north and global south, because in America they tend to just teach like American history and false American history. And
false American.
Yeah, so it's like I was trying to expand that kind of perspective. And that was a beautiful experience. I love that country. My heart is there.
That's good.
Yeah.
You traveled a lot. You've done a lot of things. You sound like a very interesting lady.
Thank you.
It's been a great interview.
Thank you. This is so great.
Before we go, what do you think of London?
Oh, I love London. It's so much better than New York.
Really? Okay.
I love it here. It's so beautiful. The people are so nice. Such great food. I wish I had a little bit more time this trip, but I'm here now, so I'll come back.
My last couple of questions is, what can London learn from New York or America, and what can America learn from London?
Wow, that's a good one. The U.S. can adopt the towel heaters. That's like, I don't know why we don't do that. That's so genius.
Yeah.
I feel like we can learn a lot. American can learn a lot from London, and just like the UK, like Europe in general, because I just feel people have more of a work to live mentality here, even though I know it's still we're all very still capitalistic. I still feel like they have a little bit more family value, social value. And what can London learn from New York or America? That one's hard. What can we learn?
I have one, but I'm not sure if you'd agree.
What is it?
I think we need to be more innovative. We've lost that from the industrial age, and you guys are way ahead. You're good at marketing, good at sales, good at all those things. Would you say to that?
I mean, I initially understand, but I'm actually trying to redefine my definition of success, and I'm not really sure if it's like surplus and maximum and grow out, and it might be more, especially because of just like the state of the world, it might be more like resourceful and living in alignment with nature and our rhythm, and might be like going back to our roots and getting connected and knowing where things are from and not being so disconnected from the natural world.
There is an official definition of success, which is you find something that you love to do and get paid for it.
Yeah. And just enough. Like if you love to do it and you have the means and you're happy, like if it's based on a number, like numbers are infinite and that will be never ending. So it is like one is enough. Yeah, I love that definition.
Okay, that's good. Well, remind people where we can find you before we go.
I guess Instagram's the place right to be now. So it's at Sam H Hunter and at Source Films.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot for that, and we wish you well.
Thank you. You're so great. You have amazing questions. This was so fun.
We hope that episode enhanced your life. We post an interview every day, as well as vlogging on our social media channels. Don't forget to subscribe to get our latest episode.